I used to enjoy going to the park from time to time when I was alive. However, I always sought moments when it was less crowded. I had my own bench there, and instead of facing the alley like most people, I preferred to sit facing the backrest, looking at the river, avoiding people. One afternoon, I was delighted to find the park completely deserted. Not a soul crossed my path as I made my way there, although there were certainly people nearby. I simply didn't pay them much attention. I can't even recall how I managed to navigate that terrible intersection. Yet upon reaching my bench, I discovered it was occupied. Right from the start, I could tell that the girl sitting there was beautiful. She was sitting just like I would have, facing away from me, facing the river, and I liked that. I wanted to steal a second glance when passing by. Perhaps unconsciously, I had planned to leisurely observe her without being noticed, but it didn't happen as I had planned. "Do you mind if I took your place?" she asked, turning her head. In that very moment, I knew with absolute certainty. From the sound of her voice, I knew we were destined to be together. However, that revelation, remarkable as it was, did not address her question. I stumbled for words, trying to respond. "How did you know it was my place?" "I've often seen you sitting here," she replied. "Really?" I asked, genuinely surprised, and I felt as if I were floating. She smiled at me and, oh God, somehow I must have floated or found myself propelled by my own feet as I drew close to her, feeling awkward to say the least. "You can sit down if you like. There's plenty of room," she said, shifting a little to the left. I haven't seen you before," I murmured, my excitement rendering me almost speechless. "That's because you were always looking somewhere else," she said, gazing into my eyes. We locked eyes for a few seconds, and in that gaze, I witnessed everything, infinity stretching out like a path before us. She knew, we both knew, our eyes conveying emotions that defied verbal expression. But what were we, two strangers, to do from that point on? We sat side by side on the bench, savoring the moment. Time itself seemed to belong solely to us. We watched the river meandering towards the vast ocean and exchanged only a few words before parting that afternoon. "Will you come here again?" she asked me. "Yes, I will still be here, on the bench." "Then I'll see you again," she said. There was such silence in her eyes as she bid me farewell. She briefly touched my hand, and oh, by the holy heavens, I knew, a million times over, that we would never be apart. Then she departed. It had all been so unexpected and surreal. A gentle breeze blew, and I caught a glimpse of her as she walked away. The wind illuminated her brown hair with sunlight, flickering, and with every breath, I felt happiness flooding my entire being. Then, as if in a dream, I heard a rusty creak and a muffled thud. I didn't want to awaken, and I prayed to all the gods that I would return to sleep, that the dream would continue, but it wasn't a dream. It was real. She was real. She had been real. After Diana passed away, I too lived on the edge for an entire year. Then I made the decision to live anyway, knowing that I wouldn't live forever. I got married, faced many challenges and accomplishments in my life, like all people do. But occasionally, quite rarely, I would still find solace on that park bench and reminisce about her. I didn't even know her name. I only discovered it later from an article describing the accident. Eventually, I, too, passed away, old and weary of life. And as everyone does, I realized that existence doesn't end there. We don't get off that easily. From the new place where we found ourselves, I understood that our meeting wasn't a coincidence, and that feeling was not deceiving. From here, beyond time, we observed the history of the world together, from one end to the other. Our remains lingered in the same cemetery for centuries, until a peculiar war with mad and formidable weapons churned up the green meadow beneath which we slept, disturbing our slumber and scattering us into millions of fragments, bringing us closer together. Then the indifferent and cold people of the future transformed the city's ruins into a new town and embedded us in the walls of a bridge over the river that flowed past the old park. Many centuries later, the bridge collapsed, and we plunged into the river together, carried away by its current into the ocean. There, we slumbered in each other's embrace for billions of years. No one disturbed us. No one envied our love story. Only friendly, timid fish occasionally paid us a visit. Then, after some time, they too left us alone, as the ocean water grew warmer and warmer until it evaporated. The steam lifted us into the clouds. The sun turned red, filling the sky. The moon collided with that barren earth, propelling us together among the stars. And we floated among the stars together, just like when I first laid eyes on you, like when you lightly touched me with one finger and blissfully drifted away from me.